Thank you so much for your openness to hearing about the new missionary work that God has called me to. As you know, there's a huge need for young people, teenagers, college students to be invested in, and for them to know that they have the capacity to make a huge impact on the world. When I was a teenager, 14 years old, I remember experiencing just a lot of weight on my heart and feeling insignificant, feeling a lack of purpose and a lack of self-worth. And I remember one night when I was 14 years old, I went to my youth group, and my youth minister that night said if there was anything pressing on our hearts, that we should share that with the Lord, with Jesus and the Blessed Sacrament. And so I did. I got down on my knees and I looked at Jesus and the Blessed Sacrament, and I said, Lord, I feel so insignificant. And I feel like there's no place for me. But if you have a place for me, please show me where that is, and I will be there. And that night, after praying that, I went home to my home and I went to sleep that night, and God awoke me in the middle of the night and woke me out of my bed and showed me this vision that my identity is in the body of Christ, and that is where I will always find significance, purpose, value, and worth. And that experience helped me see how much God knew me, how much He heard me, knew me, loved me, and wanted me. And because He wanted me, I wanted to know about Him and learn more about Him and who He was and His church. So I was really excited about growing in my faith. I started reading my Bible every day and going to youth group. I got involved in a confirmation program at my parish, and I just drank it all in. When I was confirmed, I wanted to be like Mother Teresa. And my mom drove me to the soup kitchen every day when I was young. When I was 15, 16 years old, every day I would cook for 300 homeless people. And it profoundly impacted me, seeing how I can make a gift of myself to others, experiencing the joy of giving myself and making an impact on the world around me with all the relationships that I built with the guests, with the homeless that came in, knowing their names, faces, and stories, which really filled my heart. And also being able to look out at all of them eating and seeing that they made food that I made and that I was making a difference in their lives. And now, what a gift that my new job is being a bridge for young people to experience the joy of giving themselves. My new role is that I am the director of missions for an organization called Catholic Mission Trips. And so my role is planning and coordinating mission trips for high school students and for college students all throughout the country. As we know, there's a huge need for teenagers, college students to be invested in, for their hearts to just be stirred and shifted and exposed to experiences where their big questions about life can become just more evident to them. So many young people are asked, what do you want to do when you go to college, or what do you want to study when you grow up? And it's really important, I think, that we invest in them and give them opportunities to experience the joy of giving themselves. So on our mission trips, what we do is lots of labor-intensive work. So we do things like rebuilding houses. We do drywalling and cementing and roofing and mold remediation. Most of the time we're helping out hurricane victims who don't have family really to step in that role and be there for them after suffering through such a tragic situation. We also spend about half of our time also with working with orphan children or a homeless population by being able to be with them in that time and restoring dignity to the people around us. It's amazing as teens when they come on these trips. Last year I led a trip with Catholic Mission Trips to Puerto Rico. You know, the teenagers start out their mission trip with their arms crossed, you know, not really wanting to share much in their small groups. But towards the end of the trip, these teenagers were saying things like, wow, this mission trip helped me realize that true happiness comes from serving others. Another teen said that this mission trip helped them see how they can be missionary in their everyday life by being more involved in their own family life and in their own community. Another teen said that this mission trip helped them build a much stronger relationship with God. So on these mission trips, we're not just serving, but also the teens and young people are unplugged during this whole week of mission. And so they're able to make connections with really the people around them, the people in their groups. We're really building the fraternity of young people and restoring for them in a grace-filled environment where they can have authentic relationships with those around them during that time of being unplugged and seeking a deeper human connection through the small groups, the sharing of how the Lord is moving in their hearts and their desires and their emotions and what they're experiencing during that time. The other thing is that throughout the mission trip, it's immersed in prayer and just an opportunity to have a renewed personal encounter with Jesus. So we have Eucharistic adoration on the mission trip. We have one night of confession. We have praise and worship every day. We have daily mass intertwined throughout the mission trip. And we also have other young adult Catholics who are helping lead the trip, investing in the young people who come on these trips, giving talks about the faith and about their encounters that they've had with Jesus through prayer and through serving others. And also on these mission trips, we're seeking to accomplish the desire of Christ, as it says in John 17, verse 21, that we all be one as Jesus desires for us all to be one in him, as he and the Father are one, by bringing communities in need and the youth together to do something beautiful for God. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity as working as the director of missions. So my job is planning and coordinating all the mission trips. I'm in contact with parishes, with high schools, and also with campus ministries all throughout the United States. I'm also in contact with communities in need all throughout the states, so in places like Texas and Louisiana, New Mexico, Kentucky, especially places after hurricanes hit. And then also in places in Central America. For the past 20 years, Catholic Mission Trips has been serving, beginning in Mexico, on the border of the U.S. and Mexico, serving by building chapels for refugees down there. But we also do serve in the DR, in Mexico, in Puerto Rico, in Haiti, Belize. And so those trips are another, deeper layer into experiencing another culture and learning to have a sensibility towards the poor, living a more simple life, so we can live a life for others. The other thing that's super beautiful about this job is that Our Lady of Guadalupe has specifically chosen me for this job. So I went on my first ever mission trip with Catholic Mission Trips 10 years ago with my youth group. We went to serve Hurricane Harvey victims in Texas. So while I was there, during our Catholic programming that we have on these mission trips, I learned one night about Our Lady of Guadalupe. And the story of her totally captivated me, just her passion that she has to bring her son to the world. So just the story about Juan Diego and Our Lady being impressed upon his tilma, the heartbeat on the tilma, not knowing what the pigment is made of that's on the tilma, how bombs were set off in the basilica where the tilma of Our Lady of Guadalupe is, and how it has survived all these 500 years, 9 million conversions to Christianity through this miraculous appearance and image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. Last year, I was blessed with the privilege of being able to go to Mexico City and behold Our Lady with my own eyes, and encountering her deep personal love just totally melted my heart. I was in tears at the basilica, the goosebumps, feeling, who am I that I get to be here before her. It's been said Our Lady appeared in Lourdes, she appeared in Fatima, but in a sense, she still appears in Mexico for all to see. And so while I was there, Catholic Mission Trips sent out an email to all of us who are affiliated with them and said they were looking for a new director of missions. And so I told them, because Our Lady of Guadalupe is the patroness of Catholic Mission Trips, I said, hey, I'm actually here at the Basilica, so I will talk to our patroness myself and let her know that we're looking for a new director of missions. And at that time, I was going on a 3-month mission to Puerto Rico, so I was not thinking about working. I had already left my job and all of my home in Tallahassee. I was not thinking of that at all. But I don't think it was a coincidence that I was there praying for the director of missions, even though I had no idea that it was going to be me. And then I returned to the States at the end of January, and then at the end of February I started looking for a job. I reached out to Catholic Mission Trips, and they told me they just hadn't found the right fit yet and asked me if I was interested. And I told them that I was. We chatted more about it, but then the whole pandemic broke out. We had to cancel all of our mission trips and nobody was working, so I wasn't thinking about working. So during that time I ended up painting my mom's house, the whole outside of her house, during the quarantine, and towards the end of painting her house, Catholic Mission Trips reached out to me again and asked me if I would be interested in fundraising my salary to be the director of missions. And I told them that I was open to it because I trust that God is Father and that He will provide if this is what He wants for me. So we had another interview, and after we had an interview, they reached out to me and let me know that they wanted to hire me as their director of missions. And so I took it to prayer. I took it to prayer back to my home in Tallahassee with a new family that I live with, and 4 other beautiful Catholic women, and resting in their love helped me just be in a beautiful place of prayer to discern that this job is using my gifts, my talents, my passions for mission, and to just build a civilization of love like Our Lady of Guadalupe desires for the Americas. And so I was about to sign the contract one day, and right before I intended to sign the contract, one of the kids that I live with randomly came up to me and said, "Miss Megan, have you ever heard of Our Lady of Guadalupe?" And I told him, "Yes, but tell me, what do you know?" And I don't see it as a coincidence that Our Lady has chosen me for this job. The day that I was going to sign the contract, that someone in my own home asked me if I knew of her. So I'm working for Our Lady, for her organization, and was there at the Basilica praying for the director of missions, and here I am. So please keep me in your prayers during this time. I am looking for financial mission partners to support me on a monthly basis. So if you could consider donating to me from anywhere from $50 to $200 a month, I would greatly appreciate it, and I would feel so blessed to have your support, your prayers with me on mission and investing in graces to bring communities in need, the poor, and young people together to do something beautiful for God, for all of us to have a renewed personal encounter with Jesus. Thank you.